Hello, my name is Zara and I work for the Office of the Police and Crime Commissioner. Part of my job is to make sure that policing works for you, your parents, grandparents, friends and everyone else who lives and works in Wiltshire. We also help to support victims of crime and fund things that stop crime from happening in the first place. This past year must have been quite unsettling for many of you here, and now moving up to high school offers more changes and challenges for you to overcome. Not all change is bad though, and it's important to celebrate the good things that come from change. I imagine moving schools is quite daunting. New uniform, new teachers, and new subjects to learn. But it must also be very exciting. There is so much opportunity to learn new things and meet new people, and Junior Good Citizen is one of those opportunities. These sessions you'll be watching today will help teach you about what to do in an emergency, how to stay safe online, and help keep you and your loved ones safe from harm. The messages from all of those involved in this video are still as important as if it was said to you face to face, so I hope you take the time to listen to their advice and share it with your family and friends. Remember, change isn't always bad and quite often it's rather good. Enjoy the sessions and good luck in Year 7.
I'm a community support officer with the British Transport Police. We're a specialist police force that covers the whole of the railway network throughout England, Scotland and Wales. We're responsible for policing the entire railway network, that's all the stations, and there's over 2,500 of them, and that doesn't include London Underground, all the Docklands Light Railway, but we police those as well. The trouble is, every year as the weather improves, especially during the school holidays, we see a huge increase in the number of trespass incidents on the railway. Currently these are higher than they've ever been, with an average of 1 an hour reported somewhere on the railway network. Last year there were more than 550 people caught trespassing on the railway, and most of these were children aged between the ages of 11 and 18. Even worse, over the past 10 years, more than 170 people have lost their lives trespassing on the railway, and almost half of those were under the age of 25. Most people don't even know, but trespass on the railway, which is going anywhere within the railway boundary that you aren't allowed, is a criminal offence. That means a criminal record for anyone who's caught. Fines go up to £1,000 as the sign says, and you can be arrested just for being on the railway. One of our biggest problem areas is pedestrian or level crossings. These are places where footpaths or roads cross the railway. Network Rail is working constantly to close as many of these as they can, and are not allowed to open any new ones. There are currently over 6,000 of these crossings, 5,000 of which are unstaffed pedestrian crossings, and although not always, they tend to be in rural areas. This is where a large number of calls come in from during the spring and summer months, with people misusing these crossings. If you do come across a level crossing, remember to use it sensibly. First of all, remove any headphones so that you can hear clearly. Next, put away your mobile phone or any devices so you're not distracted. Then look both ways to ensure there's no trains coming. If there is, wait for them to pass and then look both ways again. If it's clear, keep looking and listening, but walk directly across the railway track. Do not stop or wander off to the sides. Keep going until you're clear of the tracks. Then pass through any gate, closing it firmly behind you. And there's another thing, electrification. For these new trains to run on the railway network in the local area, Network Rail have been busy electrifying the lines. You may have seen new overhead cables being installed near you. This is a game changer, not just for travel, but for the dangers to anyone trespassing on the railway. The electricity in these cables is never turned off, not even at night. It's on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and the amount of electricity is huge. It's 25,000 volts, or more than 100 times higher than the electricity in your house. Anyone who comes into contact with this much electricity will be killed or very seriously injured, and you don't actually have to touch the cables. 25,000 volts is so powerful it will jump or arc up to 3.5 meters, just like a bolt of lightning, and it's genuinely frightening. Now, most of you will probably have been to a railway station at some point and may have noticed the yellow line painted on the edge of the platform. These lines are there to keep you safe when trains are moving close by. It's really important to stay behind this line at all times unless you're actually getting on or off a train. It's especially important in more rural stations like this one, where fast intercity trains pass through at high speed without stopping. The turbulence or rush of air these trains create when they pass by can actually knock you off balance, which if you're standing too close to the platform edge can have very serious consequences. So please remember to stay behind the yellow line. As soon as a report of trespass is received, trains have to be slowed down or even stopped until we can find out what is actually happening, who is involved and why. This causes havoc across the railway network and costs millions of pounds every year. Our railways are amongst the most congested in Europe, with trains travelling as close together as possible, tightly monitored by strict systems and safety procedures, especially where trains have to slot into gaps when joining the main line from a branch line. If a train is delayed, all this starts to fail and results in trains arriving late where they need to be, and causes a rapid and far-reaching knock-on effect, all down to trespass, not to mention the drain it places on essential services like the police. And that's another reason why we're out and about patrolling and checking all these areas, especially now when it's more important than ever to keep the railways running without interruption. So please help us to keep you safe.
Hello everyone, my name's Natalie and today I'm joined by Becky and Kat. We all work for drug and alcohol services called Motivate and UTurn in Swindon and Wiltshire. Both services are for young people aged 11 to 18 that are having issues with substances. Each service provides advice, guidance and one-to-one support for young people who are having problems with drugs and or alcohol. The service is free and confidential, and we aim to provide a flexible and non-judgmental space for young people to be open about the problems that they're facing.
Drugs and substances fall into 3 different categories, the first being medicines. These are medications that you can buy over the counter at a pharmacy or prescribed by a doctor. We should always be careful about taking these medicines, even if they are legal. The next category is legal drugs, such as caffeine, nicotine and alcohol. However, we do need to be careful of how much we're taking and the interactions between these, even though they are legal, and certain ones have age limits, such as alcohol. Illegal drugs. Children should avoid having these at all costs. Some drugs are illegal for all ages, and these we'll discuss further in the presentation. Please raise your hand if you think the following drugs are illegal, and if you think they're illegal, put your hands on your head. So the first one is alcohol. So cowpole is legal as it is a medicine. Next one is Nurofen, which is also legal as it's also a medicine and can be bought in any shop. Smoking is also legal, however, it's illegal to buy it under the age of 18. And coffee is also legal. And next we have alcohol, which is also legal. However, it's illegal to buy it under the age of 18. And finally, we have cannabis, which is illegal for all ages.
Okay, class, so I hope you found lots of answers with your fellow students. So some of the names that we've come up with are skunk, Callie, Adoob, Kush, Stardog, Mary Jane, and probably the most popular that we hear from all young people that we work with is the word weed. It is probably the most common and popular name to describe cannabis. What is cannabis? Cannabis is the most commonly used illicit drug in the world. It is a plant known for its pain-relieving and mind-altering properties that has been used by people for centuries. There are many different strains of cannabis, which has different chemical compositions, giving the strains a variety of different effects and reasons for use.
Cannabis can mess with your mind and mood. Heavy use can affect your mental health, making you more paranoid, anxious, or depressed. Cannabis can also bring you in contact with criminalised adults and risk becoming criminally exploited and getting a criminal record. Regular cannabis use is known to associate with an increase in the risk of later developing psychotic illnesses, including schizophrenia. And if you have a family background in mental illness, you may also have an increased risk of getting these. Cannabis can also affect the way the brain works. Regular cannabis use has been proven to make it difficult to learn and concentrate in studies where users have begun smoking in early life. This is a potentially serious risk if you are young, so your brain is still developing whilst you're smoking cannabis.
If you want to find out about our services and what they have to offer, or wish to access the support, then please contact using the details on this page. Thanks for listening.
Hello Year Sixes, and welcome to this presentation from Wiltshire Council and Swindon Borough Council's road safety teams. When you were much younger, you probably learnt to stop, look, listen and think before you crossed a road. But now you're older, you might perhaps think that this is just for little children and you don't need to remember it anymore. But the same principle actually applies to people of all ages, and not just for pedestrians. Other road users have similar routines. If you've done bikeability training, for example, you'll know about observation, position, communication and priorities. And car drivers learn about mirror, signal, manoeuvre too. It's all about being aware of what's going on around you, making the right choices and sharing roads safely with other people. So let's take a closer look at stop, look, listen and think, but this time the Year 6 version. First, why do we need to stop before crossing the road? Well, it gives us and other road users time to notice what's going on around us and to react in the best possible way. Let's think about a car travelling on the road at 30 miles an hour, which is the usual speed limit on local roads with streetlights. If we were to suddenly step out into the road, how long would it take the car to stop completely from when the driver first spots us? Take a look at the scene on the next two slides. Pause the video if you need to and decide whether it would stop by the person at point A, point B or point C. This is the driver's view. And this is the view down the road. The total distance needed for the car to come to a complete stop includes the time it takes for the driver to react to what they've seen and put their foot on the brake, the thinking distance, plus the time it takes for the brakes to actually stop the car, the braking distance. At 30 miles an hour in a car with good tyres and brakes and an alert driver, this is 23 metres, or about the length of 6 cars. On our picture, that's point B. Were you right? That's why we need to stop and check before stepping out. Even the best driver in the best vehicle may not be able to stop in time. Perhaps later at school you could measure out 23 metres on the playground and also investigate the following questions. What difference does speed make to the overall stopping distance? What can affect the thinking distance? And what can affect the braking distance? This next bit is about seeing and being seen. And by that we mean observing, properly seeing, not just looking. It needs to have our brain behind it. We need to look for safe places to walk and cross. Walking on the pavement or footway is best, but if there isn't one, for example on a country lane, then walk on the right-hand side so that you can see the traffic coming towards you. When we need to cross, we should look for the best place. Can you name all these safer crossing places? The answers are at the end. If there's no special place to cross, we should look for somewhere where we can see traffic and drivers can see us, avoiding places near hills, corners, next to parked vehicles, or even in dark shadows. If we need to cross between parked vehicles, we should avoid large ones like vans or lorries, where drivers won't be able to see us coming out and we can't see the road properly. And don't forget, often we can hear traffic before we can see it, so we need to use our ears too. If we're on the phone, listening to music or just chatting with our friends, we should stop and focus on the road when we really need to. Earbuds and headphones can easily block out traffic sounds. And lastly, probably the most important part, I think this should really say, for yourself. It's very easy when we're with other people, whether that's friends or family, to get into the habit of assuming that someone else has checked it safe, whether that's looking for traffic before crossing, checking our bike's brakes work, or that we have our seatbelt on properly. Your parents or other adults probably did that for you when you were little, and they probably still do it now for you sometimes. But what happens when you're travelling on your own? For example, on the way to secondary school by yourself or with friends? Has someone really made sure that it's safe for you all to cross? Is it actually worth saving just a few seconds by not walking to the proper crossing? Are you sure your bike is really safe to ride? Lots of potentially life-saving decisions to be made. Our life is ultimately our responsibility, and we only get one. So take that responsibility and always think for yourself. Stay safe, and thank you for listening.
Hello, and welcome to this session, which is on cybercrime and online safety. My name is Lee, and I'm a Cyber Protect and Prevent Officer at Wiltshire Police, and I'll be taking you through this session today. Firstly, going online is great for lots of reasons. We now spend a lot of time connected to the internet, through our phones, our tablets, computers, or even our TV. We use the internet to buy things, to relax by watching a film or our favourite YouTube videos. We even use it to learn, both in our classrooms and at home. We have online accounts and also share information with each other. And some of that information can be really important. All of these things are great, but to use them, we need to have accounts. We use these accounts to buy things and also send our information. And this is the reason that we need to protect ourselves and our information online, because all of these things are what criminals like to get their hands on. There are some people who use the internet to commit crimes. We're going to look at two ways in which they commit crimes. First, by guessing or stealing your password, and secondly, by getting you to click on links they can sometimes send you. Strong passwords keep us safe and secure. That's right. A strong password will keep your account safe and secure and stop people from getting in. Passwords protect our accounts. They are what stop the criminals from getting at our information and using our accounts to commit crimes. So they are one of the most important things to get right to keep us safe online. But can you spot a strong password? Which password below do you think is the strongest? Why not take a break from the video for a minute or so and decide as a group which one you think is the strongest and why. Maybe stick your hands up in the air to vote. I'm sure you've all had a good discussion around which one is the strongest. And if you said yellow chips tasty, then you were right. This is the strongest password. Let's look at each one. Chips. This isn't very strong. It's only one word, so it's not very long, and it's really easy to guess, and it would be guessed by a computer in under a second. It's so easy. Next, alright, we have chips 18. While it's a little bit stronger than chips, it still isn't very strong a password at all. It's very short still, and it can be, again, easily guessed by a computer. And in the middle, our correct answer for this example is yellow chips tasty. This is the strongest password. It uses a method called 3 random words, and that is by choosing 3 random words for your password, it means it can be a bit longer, it can be hard to guess, and sometimes a bit easier for you to remember. I'm sure we all like some chips and we can remember that. Also, something seems fishy. As well as trying to get our passwords, criminals try to get us to click on things. They do this by sending us a message, like emails or text messages or other online messages, maybe over a social app that you use or games that you play that has a chat function. But why do they do this? Pause for a sec again and think for a minute or two and have a quick chat. See if you can think why criminals might want you to click on something that they've sent you. Okay, I'm sure you all came up with some great ideas as to why we might get these kinds of messages. We call these messages phishing, and that's because the criminals are fishing for information. They are trying to get you to give them something that you normally wouldn't do. So what do they fish for? Sometimes they'll fish for usernames, and this will normally be your email address, and that to a cyber criminal could be quite valuable. Passwords, this is the most common thing that they are after, and that's because if they can log into your account, they can use that account as they wish. They may get further information from your account, or they might use your account to talk to other people so they can try and get into their accounts as well. Sometimes they also go after money, and now you probably don't have a bank account, but your parents might, and they may have used it to purchase something for you on an account. And if those details were saved, they could use your parents' account to get things for themselves. So most of the phishing emails that are sent out and that you will receive, the criminals don't know that you're a child, and they don't know that you have a bank account. It is just pure coincidence that you get them. And lastly, some phishing emails can damage your device. So some emails and messages are sent with the intention to damage your device. They do this by putting some bad software or apps on your device that stops them from working properly. That's why you should just never click on things without knowing where it's going. And of course, if you're unsure what you do with any message that you get, then ask an adult. Ask one that you trust and see what they think. They can help you and they can let you know what to do. There is, of course, lots more out there that you can learn and for you to discover. And here are just a few places that you can go to look at about staying safe online. I've listed some here of the places that are on the screen for you. We've got places like Childline, the Safer Internet Centre, and Think You Know. They give you all kinds of advice about staying safe when you're online. So go and check those out, and they can provide some really useful hints and tips for you. If you're interested in cybersecurity and want to know a little bit more of how computers work, or even if you're not interested in it at the moment, but maybe you'd like to learn, then you can go to the Cybersecurity Challenge UK website in the bottom left there, And they have lots of interesting things to do on here. Some games that will help you learn and learn all about cybersecurity. And lastly, we hope you won't ever need it, but if something bad does happen to you or your family or friends when you're online, then you should report it. And you'll do this by reporting it to Action Fraud. Or if you're just not sure what to do, contact the police and we can make sure we put you in the right direction and help you out in any way. But thank you for listening today and enjoy the rest of your sessions.
Welcome to the weapons awareness part of our Junior Good Citizens virtual input. To start with, we're going to check your knowledge.
So the first question is, what is the age of criminal responsibility? Have a think and we'll reveal the answer in a moment.
It's 10. From the age of 10, that is the age you could be held responsible for the choices that you're making within the community and at home and at school. So if you are making a bad choice, you need to think this could mean that you have to come to visit at the police station or be arrested. This isn't something we'd like to happen to you, so please think carefully about the choices you're making within the community.
What is the average age of a young person, so we think it's between 8 to 18 years of age, found carrying a knife across Wiltshire? That could be county or Swindon. Have a think.
So the answer for this one is 13. Did that surprise you? Obviously, this isn't something that we'd like any of you to be doing, so that's why we're here to talk to you today.
And this is another question before we move on to our next slide. What is the age you can legally buy knives and similar sharp objects from a shop or online? Have a think.
Okay, the answer for this one is 18. This is when you legally become an adult in the eyes of the law. That is when you will be allowed to buy these sort of items. Before that, shops would be advised to be asking you for identification. So 18 is the age you can legally buy these types of objects.
So here's another quiz for you. Which of these are considered weapons? And you can talk with your friends and talk with your teacher that's in the class today, but we want to know which of these are actually weapons.
Okay, there's lots of things on there. Can you see the stones? There's cutlery, there's a pencil, there's a bit of wood with a nail in, there's a shoe, a skateboard, a phone, oh, a dog's feeding bowl, all sorts of things on there. So what do you think?
Well, the answer is that all of these items can be considered weapons, even the pencil that you see there. Who would have thought that a dog bowl could be a weapon as well? But basically anything could be changed into a weapon. You think that some of these everyday items are found within the home, but think about the skateboard. That's usually used on your feet to go to a skate park. You could pick that up and use it to attack. The pencil, that could be considered something that you use every day in school, but it can also be used as a sharp bladed item. It can potentially hurt people. Even a stiletto, that could be used as a weapon because it's got a very sharp end on the heel. All of these items can be changed into weapons.
So as you can see, there's 3 in the middle that are highlighted. You've got the knife in the middle, and then to the right of the knife, you've got a bit of wood with a nail in. And then to the other side, these are what are called knuckle dusters. These are all weapons, and these are not some things that you should be having out and about with you whilst you're in the community. Some of the other things you would have out and about with you whilst you're in the community, like your shoes or a pencil or a skateboard. But those ones highlighted in the middle are definitely nothing that you should be carrying around with you whilst you're out and about with your friends. Okay, with all the information you've just been told, you're now going to your new school, or during the summer holidays, you might see somebody that you know is making a bad choice and carrying something that they shouldn't be within their bag. What do you now need to do? As we say to lots of young people all the time, you're not snitching, you're not snaking, you're not grassing. You are saving a friend, because we want you to all stay as safe as possible. So what would be the next steps for you? Ideally, we would love for you to speak to one of your trusted adults. Do you know who your trusted adults are? It could be a parent, a carer. It could be an oldest brother or sister. It could be a teacher. It could be an aunt or uncle. Or you could speak to your local community support officer or police officer if you see them within the community. However, if you're not able to do that, then obviously you can ring 101 if it's a non-emergency situation.
As well as that, if you feel as though you can't speak to a trusted adult or your circle of trust, as we've already mentioned, you can report crime anonymously online, or indeed via Crime Stoppers on the 0800 555 111 number. To report it online, you can go to fearless.org. And this is a website, a youth-led version of Crime Stoppers, where they highlight all things related to crime. They have an A to Z glossary on what crime is, all different types of crime, and indeed the report anonymously button, where you can click there. Don't even need to type your name, where you come from. You just need to type in the incident or concern that you have involving knife crime and send on. And that will go to the relevant intelligence department within Wiltshire Police if needed.
We understand that not all of you will have a phone at the moment because some of your adults won't be happy for you to have them. However, this would be something that you can look to download as you get older. But for now, if you need to report anything, please make sure you speak to your trusted adults, as we spoke about earlier.
So thank you very much for listening to our presentation on weapons awareness. Hopefully something has been learnt today, and enjoy the rest of the Junior Good Citizen video.
Hi, I'm Melanie Taylor, a retained firefighter at Pusey Fire Station. Last year we went to 250 kitchen fires across Swindon and Wiltshire. As a firefighter, I know how devastating it can be to have a kitchen fire. Please listen carefully to all the things my watch manager and crew tell you today. This information is important to help keep you and all the people you live with safe from fire.
Hello, I'm Dave Adamson and I'm the station manager for Pusey Fire Station. My passion is keeping people safe in the community and helping my crew, and I'm here to talk to them following an incident we had last night.
I'm going to introduce you to my crew. Pusey is a on-call fire station, so everyone else has another role, another job. So I've been in the fire service for 26 years here at Pusey as an on-call firefighter. My main job is with Surrey Fire and Rescue Service, where I'm a whole-time firefighter there. Let my crew introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Liam. I've been an on-call firefighter for 3 years now. When I'm not an on-call firefighter, I'm a general builder in my local community.
Hi, I'm Tom Ritchie. I've been a firefighter at Pusey for 15 months now. I respond during the evenings and weekends, and during the week I'm a builder.
Hi, I'm Simon Green. I've been here for 26 years as an on-call firefighter. My other job is I work at our training centre in Devizes as a technical officer.
Hi, I'm Ollie Simons. I'm a firefighter at Pusey. I've been here for 4 years. I'm also a blue light driver, and when I'm not here, I work as a welder.
Okay, so everything's squared away from the incident last night. We've got the handover forms and the hot debrief and everything to come. Oh, we've got fire call.
Remember to turn lights off, Ollie.
Hello, we've just returned from that incident which was a kitchen fire. Unfortunately, the fire started by occupants leaving some shopping on top of the hob and accidentally brushing against the switches which activated the hob. Thankfully, they had working smoke detectors which made them aware that there was a fire within the property. They had a fire escape plan and all made their way outside the property together and stayed outside the property and called 999. We were at the property for about 2 hours, supported by our colleagues from Marlborough Devices.
We will be here to help you when you have an emergency, but you can help yourselves be safer at home by making sure that you have a working smoke alarm. You and your family should have a fire escape plan. This is a plan just in case you ever have a fire. When your smoke alarm goes off, stop what you are doing, make sure you're on your way out of your home and get to the nearest exit as quickly as possible and as safe. All meet together at your nearest meeting place, call 999 and ask for the fire service. Tell our fire control operator all of the information we may need to know, your address and your postcode, and that you are all safely outside. Or if someone may still be in the building, let fire control operator know where they may be.
You are our fire safety ambassadors. We want you to help us educate your parents, carers and families to keep your household safe. Share our safety information with your friends too. Talk about it at school. What would you do if your smoke alarm went off at 4 AM in the morning? It is very unlikely the toaster has burnt some toast and set it off. Your smoke alarm is your nose day and night and will alert you if there is any smoke, and where there is smoke there may be a fire. Your job with everyone you live with is get out, stay out and call us out. Dial 999 and ask for the fire service.
I want you all to talk about kitchen safety. Please make sure that you do not leave the kitchen when you are cooking. If you need to, then ask someone to watch the stove or switch it off. Keep looking while you're cooking. Just be careful not to let things trail onto the hob. If something gets stuck in the toaster, switch it off at the plug. Then shake the item out. Do not put a knife into the toaster. Make sure the saucepan handles don't stick out so they don't get knocked off the stove. Don't take any risks. Turn off the heat if safe to do so. Never throw water over it. Don't tackle the fire yourself. Get out, stay out, call 999. Keep tea towels and cloths away from the cooker and hob. Double check the cooker is off when you've finished cooking. Little ones should not be left alone in the kitchen when there is cooking on the hob. Plug appliances that heat up or have moving parts directly into a wall socket. Never use extension leads in the kitchen.
This is your call to action. We're all trying to help keep our environment safe, and by doing some of these things, you are helping the environment, but also saving some money too. Switch off all of the appliances and things charging before bedtime. Some appliances, like fridge, freezers, are designed to stay on. Please make sure that you are not leaving washing machines or tumble dryers working when you are in bed or have gone out of the house. Never charge mobile phones or tablets under your pillows. They must always be charged on the flat, hard surfaces. Remember not to charge them overnight. They do not need charging for that long.
Please remember what you've heard today and do talk about it with your friends and family and at the school. Be careful in the kitchen, keep the hob area tidy, keep looking when you're cooking is our message. Check your smoke alarms weekly so you do not forget. Test the bleep once a week. Have a fire escape plan just in case you might need it one day. Close doors before you go out and before the last one goes to bed. If you ever have a fire, please get out, stay out and call 999.
During our video, we're going to have a bit of fun, but there is a serious message alongside to be aware of when dealing with your own safety when out and about with friends, family, or even if you're on your own.
We're turning this into a game show. Welcome to the Youth and Early Intervention Personal Safety Quiz. We've got a few questions for you to answer. Here's question 1. You're in a crowded, popular supermarket. You look around, But while you're fascinated by the entertainment section, you realise your family have walked on and are now gone from sight. After looking around, you cannot find them anywhere. What is the best thing to do? Is it notify a worker or the front counter? Ask strangers if they've seen them? Sit down and cry? It's a game of hide and seek, of course.
Yes, you're right. You would notify a worker at the front counter or a member of staff close by. You can tell these by the uniform they're wearing.
Well done. Now, question number 2. You find your family members who have been quite worried about you. You all walk around the supermarket some more, and there seems to be one stranger who is following you. They have black clothes and are constantly glaring at you. What is the most appropriate thing to do? Do you glare back at them? Tell your family members? Ask them what's their problem? Or run away shrieking? They look scary.
You would tell your family members. They're your adults that you're with, and they would be the ones to take the lead on this for you.
Wow, you're on a roll. Now, question number 3. You're on your way to the park after visiting the supermarket, and there is a person that you've seen before nearby that you don't really know but recognise. He is a guy you've seen many times in other places nearby, such as on the way to school or outside the shops, although you've never spoken to him. Can you assume you are safe around him? It's a yes or a no.
This is an easy one. No, he is not a safe stranger, as you don't know them personally. He is not known to you or your family, so you don't know what he is capable of or even who he is. Not every adult is a safe stranger.
So, now, question number 4. While you're at the park, the same man approaches and asks you and your friends, "Could you do me a favour? I've got a package. I need delivering quick, but I'm not as fast as you. Can you drop it off at number 54? What do you do? Do you say, "Sorry, I'm not allowed to do that"? Speak to a trusted adult when you can about what has happened? Politely ignore and walk away? Or all of the above?
Yeah, absolutely. All of the above are appropriate here. You would definitely not to be doing that for that stranger. He is not someone you know, and it is not safe to do so. It could be a sign of possible exploitation. This could mean somebody getting to you to do something that you shouldn't be doing, that potentially could be illegal. Maybe even delivering drugs.
Give me a high five! Question number 5. The male from the last question quickly gets into a car. You see the number plate of that car. What is the most important part of that number plate? Is it the letters, the numbers, the first part of that number plate, or the last part of that number plate?
That one was a little bit more tricky. If you said the last part of the plate, you are right. This bit of the plate is unique to that car. The first part of the plate is tailored to where the car was created by the manufacturer, like Ford or Honda or Citroen. The last part is for the driver themselves. So if you need to call us on 101 or 999, if you can't remember the entire number plate, have in your mind the last part so our operators can search for car details on the police system. If you can remember the last 3 digits, the make and the colour, then that would be the best information to share with us.
Now, the final question. Question number 6. Following on from question 5, what other information can you tell the police about the mail? Can you tell us the time when you saw the mail? The location? The description of the mail? Any accents? Marks, scars, tattoos, piercings, if any, or all of the above?
I bet you all got this one right. Absolutely. All of the above are really important to be giving us, so you can share as much detail of the person in question to the call taker as possible. This will help us keep you safe and everybody safe around you.
That's the end of the quiz. Did you get all 6? Well done if you did. Now it's time to hand over to PCSO Akehurst for some safety tips.
Hi guys, well done taking part in the quiz. Hope you all enjoyed it. We know that summer's just around the corner. You're all going to be out and about in the community having a great time. However, there's just a few things that you guys need to remember to make sure you keep safe. If you think somebody's following you, go to a shop, speak to a member of staff. They might be able to help you and call an adult.
When out and about in the community, make sure you stick to busy, well-lit roads and avoid shortcuts through alleyways. Always make sure your adults know where you're going and who you are with so that they can keep in touch with you.
Stay alert. Keep personal stereos, MP3s, iPods, iPads, anything that has music on, turn it off when approaching busy roads or areas with traffic so you can hear what's going on around you. Once any risks have passed, play on.
Just one last thing, if you need to get in contact with us at all, it's 101 non-emergency, 909 if there is an emergency.
Once again, thank you very much for taking part in the virtual Junior Good Citizen this year. Don't forget your questionnaire to fill in as you did before, and also best of luck with your transition to Year 7 in September.